To save father and brother, Mom and I fell into a bandit's den. After we struggled to escape and returned home, they forced us to die to preserve our chastity. Later, I found a new husband for Mom. But my old daddy showed up at our door, grabbing Mom, kneeling and crying, begging for her forgiveness. I stood in front of him with my hands on my hips. "Who are you? I don't know you. I have a new daddy now, and he is the best fighter in the world. You better scram and stop harassing my mom." The weather was freezing. Mom tried to persuade him. "It looks like it is about to snow heavily, and there are mountain bandits on the road. I'll go with you. Let's just leave the two kids at home." Father said she was being senseless. Brother Joe has passed the provincial exam and will soon become an official. Little Bai is also reaching the age for the exams. He can't just focus on studying. Networking is also an important part. The mountain bandits are just a rumor, not to be taken seriously. Joe's invitation wasn't sincere. When we arrived, he hadn't even arranged a guest room for us. We had to pay for an inn ourselves. Father was in a foul mood, but Mom comforted him. "This is actually great. I haven't been on a long trip in years, so we can just treat this as a tour." Our hands and feet were freezing, and there was nothing fun to do. We only stayed for 2 days before hurriedly starting our journey back. Unexpectedly, as we reached New Mountain, which straddles the two counties, a group of mountain bandits suddenly rushed out from the hills, charging at us with long sabers. Father was scared out of his wits, shouting, "Ancestors, protect me! Confucius, protect me!" Mother urged the coachman to steady himself and drive on quickly. "The horse runs faster than a person. We still have a chance to live." The coachman swung his whip hard. The wheel hit a stone and it jolted violently. Tipped over the brother leaning by the window and peeking out. "Brother can't catch up to the carriage." The mountain bandits shouted loudly and ran even faster. "The carriage can't stop. If it stops, it'll be caught." Mother steeled her heart, jumped off the carriage, and dragged my brother forward to run. The coachman also slowed down a little. She held up my brother, pushing him onto the carriage. And just then, the mountain bandits were about to grab her. My brother scrambled into the carriage, trembling with fear. "Run, run away. Don't get caught." I reached out my hand. "Mother, mother, father, quickly save mother. Make the carriage stop for a bit. Save mother," Mother shouted. Father's eyes were blurry with tears, and he looked at the coachman with trembling lips. Go quickly." The coachman cracked his whip, and I watched as both of Mother's arms were restrained by the mountain bandits. This can't be happening." I closed my eyes and leaped off the carriage. My mom and I were both tied up. She was crying and calling me stupid, with red eyes. I looked up at her. "But you are the only mother I have. Dad and brother won't save you, so I am here to be with you. Mother, no matter where you go, I will always be with you." Mother was very beautiful, and the bandit chief with a face full of scars couldn't wait to violate her. Fortunately, she was clever. "Sir, you are so much more strapping and powerful than that bookworm husband of mine. I couldn't be more delighted. How about we get married tonight, sir, and then enter the bridal chamber? I will be sure to take good care of you, sir." The bandit chief was so charmed by Mother he was out of his senses, and immediately ordered his men to go decorate the stronghold with red silk. Mother then suggested she cook a dish for the brothers with her own hands. The bandit chief sent people to watch closely, and Mother found some ingredients in the mountains. Made a big pot of fragrant chicken soup. She first ladled a bowl for me, then tasted a big mouthful herself. "It is cooked just right." Afterwards, the chopped leaves were sprinkled into the large pot as seasoning. Because we tasted it first, the bandits didn't suspect a thing. The chicken soup was drunk, till it was all gone. The bandit chieftain pulled Mother and haphazardly bowed to heaven and earth, slung her over his shoulder, and headed into the room laughing. I cried and chased after them. "Put down my mother! Put down my mother!" The bandit chief leered at me. "Don't be in a hurry. In a couple of years when you are all grown up, I'll make you and your mom serve me together." I was tied to a post, crying non-stop. The mountain bandits continued to eat and drink, saying dirty things about my mother. The little bitch thought that just because she is with the boss, She doesn't have to serve us anymore. When the boss gets tired of her, it'll naturally be our turn to sleep with her. My eyes were red with anger, and I wished I could tear these people to shreds. Just then, the bandit chief's angry roar came from inside the room. You fucking bitch! You dare to plot against me! I am gonna kill you today! The crowd of bandits who were drinking and eating all rushed in at once. My heart also leaped into my throat. Are mother and I going to die in this bandit's den? The commotion inside the room grew louder and louder. Me heart sank to the bottom. Just then, I saw mother walk out from the room, covered in blood, her gaze unfocused, and her hands and feet trembling. Mother, my cry made her gaze focus in an instant. She hurriedly wrapped the bloody ear in her hand, stuffed it into her sleeve, and rushed over to untie my ropes. Whore! Let's go! Quick! What about those bandits? They're all poisoned. They probably won't make it through today. The year I was 3, my father went out on a spring outing with his classmates and accidentally used a poisonous herb. That poison was rare and potent. My father was in imminent danger, and even the doctors at Huichun Hall could do nothing. Mother had studied medicine for a few years, but it wasn't considered a proper path for a woman, and after marrying into the Zhang family, grandmother forbade her from revealing her medical skills. Father was on the verge of death. Mother scoured through medical books, only to find out that the exceptionally rare Tianshan snow lotus could cure this poison. This wondrous herb couldn't be found in the small county town. Mother inquired all over and learned that the Liu residence in town, whose gates were always shut tight, was a family of great wealth and might have the medicine. Mother immediately took all the family's banknotes and land deeds, and knelt at the gate of the Liu residence for a day and a night, finally succeeding in begging for the snow lotus. The master of the residence, moved by her sincerity, only charged 1 taels of silver for the medicine. Father barely survived. After he came back to life, he hugged Mother and swore to the heavens. She discovered it when she went up the mountain today, and that is when she came up with the plan to poison him during the wedding ceremony. In a desperate situation, she remained calm in the face of danger and turned peril into safety. Mother is really amazing. We had almost run out of the stockade, but Mother suddenly went back. She chopped open the woodshed door and cut through all the ropes on the hands and feet of the several men and women trapped inside. Hurry and escape. The others scrambled away. Only 1 man, the most seriously injured, was left, and Mother again ventured into the bandit leader's room and found some medicinal pills. Take these. They'll be good for your injuries, the man asked her in a hoarse voice. May I ask your name, miss, so I can repay you in the future? We are both fellow sufferers in this world. I saved you only for my own peace of mind. There is no need for repayment. Whether you can live or not depends on your own fate. After saying that, she dragged me and we quickly left. I turned back and yelled, If you want to thank this lady, just buy me 100 sticks of tongulu. It is 100 sticks, okay. Too bad Mother had already dragged me far away. He probably didn't hear. The moment we saw the eaves of our home from afar, my mother and I hugged each other and cried our eyes out. Only at this moment did I feel that I had truly escaped from a den of tigers and wolves. We stumbled and staggered our way to our doorstep. I discovered the entire mansion was hung with white mourning silk. My heart leaped in shock. Don't tell me grandmother died? I saw Father standing at the entrance talking to the guests with a sorrowful face. At that moment, I couldn't care about anything else and dashed right over, rushing in front of him. Daddy, Daddy, Mother and I are back. It was snowing again. The fluttering snow fell between Father and Mother. Father turned his head, looking at Mother, who was covered in bloodstains and standing wretchedly in the heavy snow. At first, he was so emotional his eyes turned red, but then, amidst the crowd's whispers, his expression slowly changed. When Mother and I suddenly returned, the mourning guests all came pouring out. They sized us up and down, talking amongst themselves. They were abducted by mountain bandits, and they actually came back alive. Look at them, covered in blood, their clothes in tatters. I'm afraid they've already. Since you've already lost your purity, wouldn't coming back just dirty our family's name? Yaoniang, you've always been so sensible. How can you not understand something this simple? Yeah, Mother was once a woman acknowledged by the entire clan as a good woman. She married Father at 15, handled the housework, served his parents, and took care of clan affairs, always giving it her all. She then gave birth to my older brother and me. When she was pregnant with my older brother, she took in a concubine for Father, Yun Niang. When she was pregnant with me, she again took in another concubine for Father, Yun Niang. Mother also taught Yun Niang's and Yun Niang's daughters with great care, never showing any favoritism. Such a good woman should have just bitten her tongue and killed herself when she was captured by the mountain bandits, to preserve her chastity and honor. Father stood motionless, while Mother walked towards us step by step. She took a handkerchief from her sleeve, pulled out a blood-stained ear, and presented it to Father. Father stumbled back in fear and asked, "What is this?" "It is the ear of that bandit chief. I killed him. The blood on my body is his, and my innocence is intact." Father's face turned ghastly pale in an instant. "Yaoniang, you actually killed someone. You come from a scholarly family. You couldn't even bear to kill a chicken before." I couldn't listen anymore. "Father, if Mother hadn't been resourceful, she and I would be the ones dead. Those bandits have committed countless crimes. They deserve to die." Mother was delivering heaven's justice. Mother wiped her hands clean on her clothes and tried to embrace Father. "San Lang, I made it back alive. Aren't you happy?" Father took 2 steps back, avoiding Mother and not daring to meet her eyes. "It is good that you are back. You must be tired. Go wash up first." On the way back, we passed the mourning hall. My brother was still kneeling before the coffin, crying as he burned Joss paper. Mother stopped and gently called out to him, "Buyer, no need to burn money for me. I am back." My brother's face turned deathly pale. How are you guys still alive?" Even though Mother and I had returned, the mourning hall hadn't been taken down yet. The news that Mother and I had come back from the dead instantly spread throughout the entire city. No one was happy for us. What they wanted to know more was whether Mother had been defiled by the bandits. Those clan elders, who used to praise Mother one and all, now came to our door one after another, to have secret talks with Father and Grandmother behind closed doors. The gist of their words, both said and unsaid, was that Mother and I shouldn't be alive. On the 3rd night after our return, Grandmother summoned Mother and me to speak with her. Father and my brother were there too. Grandmother pointed to a white silk sash on the table. "Yaoniang, you have always been sensible and understood what is proper. You are the first wife of the Zhang family's eldest son. Your reputation is more important than your life. End it yourself. This way you can still earn a good reputation for the Zhang family and your children." Grandmother looked at me. "As for Hua, I will send her to a nunnery to spend the rest of her life with the green lamp and ancient Buddha to atone for her sins." "Sins? What sins have I committed?" Mother's eyes were red-rimmed as she looked at Father. "San Lang, is this what you think as well?" Father wore a pained expression. "Yao Niang, I am the eldest son of the main branch of the Zhang family. I have my own responsibilities. But I am pure. I didn't let the bandits get near me. That is not important," Father said painfully. "The point is, in the eyes of others, you've lost your purity." Mother's lips trembled uncontrollably. "Back then, your life was hanging by a thread. I risked my life to save you. You once said you would never fail me in this life. Have you forgotten all of that? That is different." Father was also in tears, explaining, "If you were seriously ill, I would willingly trade my own life for yours. But now your purity is stained, and the entire Zhang family's honor will be shamed because of this. How will I face our ancestors in the afterlife?" Grandmother said with a serious face. "As a wife, it is your duty to save your husband. Bringing this up now, are you trying to demand repayment for your favor?" "Yaoniang, I never thought you were this kind of person." My older brother spoke up, crying, "Mom, a woman's honor is more important than her life. Why did you have to come back? My classmates are all laughing at me now. saying, "I am the child of a bandit." Mother staggered and almost lost her footing. I rushed forward to hug her, standing on my tiptoes to wipe away her gushing tears. "Don't cry, Mom. Don't cry. Don't die. Mom, if you die, I'll die with you." The two of us cried in each other's arms. Father knelt before grandmother. "Mother, please give Yanyang a way to live. How about we let her shave her head and become a nun in a convent? Mother, Yanyang is my first wife. I really can't bear to watch her go to her death." He spoke with such genuine emotion, crying until tears streamed down his face. Mother stared at him blankly and sarcastically curled the corner of her lips. Grandmother relented. "It is only because our Zhang family does good deeds and accumulates virtue that we can spare your life. From now on, before the Buddha, you mother and daughter must chant every day and pray for blessings for our Zhang family." Father came to persuade mother. "Yaoniang, a day as husband and wife means 100 days of kindness. How could I bear to let you suffer? It is just that the rumors are rampant and my hands are tied." He subconsciously reached for mother's hand, but when he actually touched it, he pulled it back immediately as if burned by fire. "Yaoniang, take Hua to the nunnery and pray devoutly. You will always be the only wife in my heart. When the rumors die down, I will bring Bor to visit you often." Older brother also came forward. It is already good enough that you and your sister managed to survive. Once you go to the nunnery, don't walk around and don't go out lest you be seen. Father and I still have the imperial examinations in the future. If people find out one day that you and your sister are still alive, how are we supposed to make our way in officialdom?" I was furious. If it wasn't for saving you, would mother have ended up in danger? "Zhangbai, how could you say such a thing? Let's not even talk about whether you can pass the exams. Is your future really more important than Mom's life?" Brother's face was ice cold. "Do you even know the rules? I am your brother. How can you call me by my name? A woman is supposed to obey her father at home, her husband after marriage, and her son after her husband's death. I am mother's son, the eldest legitimate son of the Zhang family. It is only right for mother to save me." Father wiped away his tears and looked at the sky outside. "Take advantage of this dark and windy night. You two hurry back and pack. I'll have the stableman take you to the nunnery. Once you are at the nunnery, you must be cautious in everything you do. Absolutely do not let anyone know your identities." Mother stared at him without blinking. After a long while, she sneered softly, saying word by word, "All these years, the heart I had that respected and loved you was truly fed to the dogs." After speaking, her sharp gaze turned to my older brother. "And you, I poured my heart and soul into raising you for so many years, yet you are not even as heartwarming as a stray dog I've casually fed a few times. From this day forward, I will act as if I never had you as a husband, and never gave birth to you as a son. Zhang Yanhe, write me a letter of mutual divorce. From now on, we shall part ways and not disturb each other again." Grandmother immediately threw a fit. "You still want a mutual divorce? The fact that he hasn't taken your life is already a testament to my son's merciful heart." Father also frowned. "Yaoniang, even if you go to the nunnery, I will still recognize you as my one and only wife. But if we mutually divorce, you and I will have no connection from now on. Who would want any connection with a heartless and treacherous man like you?" After some struggle, grandmother ended up using me as a threat. If mother wanted to take me with her, she could only accept a letter of divorcement, and absolutely not a mutual divorce. Mother took the letter of divorcement. Her dowry was all confiscated by grandmother. Father gave mother 2 taels of silver. "After all, I can't bear to see you suffer. Onyang, once you leave the Zhang family, you'll know how hard it is for a woman to live alone with a child. If you regret it then, you can come find me anytime. We've been husband and wife for many years. I will not hold the past against you, and will still arrange for you and your daughter to enter a nunnery, sheltering you from the wind and rain for a lifetime. 2 taels of silver, only enough to rent a dilapidated old house that leaks wind and rain, and is overgrown with weeds. We slept in a room filled with a musty smell. In the middle of the night, a mouse crawled onto my face, and I was so scared I let out a piercing scream. Mother held me and kept comforting me. Huar, don't be afraid. Mother is here. I asked her, crying, Mother, are we going to have to go to a nunnery and be vegetarians? That won't happen, Huar. There are many injustices in this world, but you must never lose hope. Mother will always be with you. Mother was abducted by bandits, and not only did she not hang herself to death with a white silk sash, she instead took a letter of divorce and left the Zhang family. Those men all scorned her. Zhang Sanlang is truly a benevolent man to have even spared her life. I never knew Yao Niang was so thick-skinned. She has already lost her innocence, and yet she still has the face to live in this world. If I were her, I would have bitten my tongue and killed myself the moment the mountain bandits caught me. At least I could have left behind a pure reputation. Survival is hard, and you need money for everything. Mother's small regular script was excellent, and her rates were also very low. She copied books until her wrist was red and swollen, but the bookstore wouldn't take them. Yao Niang, you've been in a bandit's den. If others found out you were the one who copied this book, I wouldn't be able to sell a single book in my entire shop. She was also very good at embroidery. She worked until her eyes were red, but the owner of the embroidery shop repeatedly refused the handkerchiefs she made. What decent family would buy your embroidery? They would all be afraid of being tainted by bad luck. When we were struggling to make ends meet, Father even came to gloat. He said, Yao Niang, I told you long ago that you couldn't survive after leaving the Zhang family. Stop trying to act tough and just come with me to the nunnery. Mother glared at him fiercely and spat heavily. Get out. When we could no longer get by, Mother broke a steamed bun in two. I ate the bigger half. She ate the smaller one. She said, Huar, just imagine this steamed bun is braised pork, and let's take a big bite. Tomorrow, Mother will definitely find a way to make money. I looked up and smiled at her. Mother, this piece of braised pork smells so good. Mother, you have a bite. In our most difficult times, it was Yuniang and Yuniang who secretly helped us out. Madam, we all remember your past kindness. Madam, you must pull yourself together. Never mind that you are innocent even if you were defiled by the bandits. So what? Being alive is the most important thing. Mother was deeply moved and quickly came up. She and I changed our clothes, put on thick-veiled hats, and went out early. After wandering around the city for a long time, she took her embroidery and switched to an embroidery shop with a small storefront, having me wait for her outside. I am small, so I huddled outside the window of a private room in the restaurant next door and heard the two people inside talking. Your subordinate will continue to keep an eye on the benefactor's matter. Now that you are able to walk, young master, you should hurry and go north to return home. The old madam is waiting to see you and the child. Where am I supposed to find a child for her now? If I had known, I wouldn't have used this delaying tactic to trick grandmother back then. I was listening, engrossed, when I saw a familiar figure enter the embroidery workshop. Crap, it was Father. I rushed in after him to warn Mother, but it was already too late. Mother had already managed to sell the embroidery, using the excuse that she was too unsightly to show her face, and they had agreed on a price. But after Father went in, he recognized Mother at once and said, Just now, Bar said he saw you enter this embroidery workshop. I thought he must have been mistaken. Yao Niang, I didn't expect it to really be you. The embroidery shop owner's expression immediately changed, and he reached over and lifted open Mother's veiled hat. He immediately said with a cold face, Song Yao Niang, you actually made up a lie to trick me. This deal is off. Get out. Get out. Don't dirty my place. He shoved Mother, and she tripped on the threshold, fell out of the shop door, and onto the main street, her veiled hat also falling to the side. The onlookers all around were pointing their fingers and whispering. I rushed over to help my mother up, but her legs were in pain, and she couldn't get up for a moment. Father looked down at Mother with pity. Yao Niang, why must you suffer like this? You are also a woman from a scholarly family. To disregard your reputation and show your face in public like this. Don't you feel ashamed? He sighed. Forget it. A day as a couple means 100 days of kindness. I can't just leave you two, mother and daughter, to your fate. He waved his hand. You men, come over. Help Yao Niang and her daughter onto the carriage and send them to the nunnery. You can't do this. On what grounds? Mother has already been divorced by you. We have nothing to do with you anymore. On what grounds are you taking us to a nunnery? I cried and begged the people around us to help report this to the officials, but they were persuading us instead. Zhang Sanling is a kind man. That is why he is not holding it against you for falling into a bandit.'s den, and is even willing to find a place for you. You little girl, don't be ungrateful. If it were any other family, they would have strangled you both to death with white silk long ago. Father, with a face full of sorrow, repeatedly cupped his hands in salute to the crowd. Yao Niang and I were, after all, a couple since our youth. How could I have the heart to send her to her doom? The servant was very strong and restrained mother in one move. Me older brother poked his head out of the carriage, frowning. Mother, for my sake, please stop struggling. Just go to the nunnery obediently and pray. You won't have to worry about food, clothing, or expenses. Isn't that good? Father also said, you are already a ruined flower and a withered willow. You have no chance of remarrying in this life. Going to the nunnery is the best final destination for you. Be good. I am doing this for your own good. Number that is not true. I couldn't wrench free from the servant's hand, and with my mother's injured legs, it was even harder for her to break away. If we were really sent to the nunnery, then mother and I would never have freedom again in this life. Just as I saw her about to be dragged into the carriage, I saw a man in a large white cloak emerge from a tavern with his attendant. It must have been instinct. He must be the one who needed a child to present to his grandmother. His clothes were expensive and his demeanor was extraordinary. One look was enough to tell he was no ordinary person. I saw him as my last hope, rushed forward, and hugged his thigh. Snot and tears streaming down my face. Young master, I beg you, young master. Please save my mother. I'll be your child. I'll slave away for you my whole life. I beg you, please save my mother. The young master in gray bent down, his beautiful eyes fixed on my face without blinking. He opened his mouth to ask a question, but father quickly stepped forward to pull me away. Huar, stop this nonsense. He bowed politely to the young master and said, this is a family matter. I am truly sorry to have disturbed you, sir. He dragged me back scolding. You don't even know that young master. Why would he meddle in others' affairs? Father is doing all of this for your own good. It is because your mother spoils you so much that a girl like you has such an unruly temperament. You are a perfect fit for a temple to chant scriptures. Only then will you learn to know your place and behave. He threw me onto the horse carriage and urged the driver to hurry. Me mother and I held hands tightly, our tears rolling down like beads. The carriage was about to start moving, but the young master in gray blocked the way and asked, what is your relationship with them? Father answered, they are my wife and daughter. Mother gritted her teeth. You have already divorced me. We have no relationship anymore. What right do you have to take me and Huar to a nunnery? Father looked impatient, didn't reply to mother, and only looked at the young master in gray. I see you are not a local, brother. This is my Zhang family's private matter, and it has nothing to do with you. Please make way, and don't delay my business. The young master in gray took 2 steps forward, stood firmly beside mother, and gave us a faint smile. My name is Gu Yun. I wish to take Yao Niang as my wife. If she accepts me, she will be my future wife. Huar will be my stepdaughter. Their business is naturally my business. The crowd of onlookers was in an uproar. Is this out-of-town young master possessed by a ghost or something? He saw Yao Niang has some looks and thought he got a real bargain. Even Gu Yun's attendant. His mouth was open wide enough to stuff 2 eggs in. Father's expression changed all the more, asked, do you know I divorced my wife because she was once abducted by bandits? Her reputation is already ruined. Look at you, young master. You are so well dressed. Your family background must be quite good. How could your family possibly agree to you? Gu Yun didn't wait for him to finish. just smiled and looked at me. The 100 sticks of Tongulu I owe you. I'll get them for you later. It is him. My mother and I looked at each other and instantly burst into tears of joy. Truly, there is always a way out. Gu Yun reached out his hand to my mother, his tone gentle. Yao Nyang, I, Gu Yun, the 5th son of the Gu family from the capital, wish to ask for your hand in marriage. Are you willing to marry me? Father was fuming. Yao Nyang, if you have any sense of shame left, you shouldn't be grabbing and pulling at another man on the street. Mother reached up to wipe the tear stains and dirt from her face and straightened her skirt. She placed her hand in Gu Yun's palm and gave him a radiant smile. I am willing. Of course I am willing. I jumped 3 feet in the air. That is wonderful. Thank you, young master. Thank you, young master. May you live a long life and be blessed with eternal fortune. Gu Yun smiled and pinched my hair bun. Since your mother is willing to marry me, what should you call me, Daddy? Daddy? Zhang Yanhe looked absolutely livid, gritting his teeth. Zhang Shuanghua, have you forgotten what your surname is? I glared at him fiercely. Zhang Sanlang. My mother is a married woman now. Don't pester her anymore. Why don't you let her go? What did you call me? Zhang Sanlang, I said confidently. Mother has a new husband and I have a new daddy. So naturally, I'll call you Zhang Sanlang. Mother chided me in a low voice. Huar, don't be rude. Zhang Yanni's expression softened slightly. Then I heard Mother say, the Zhang family's 3rd son is older than your new daddy. You have to call him uncle. Oh, I get it. I bowed respectfully to Zhang Yanhe. Greetings, Uncle Zhang. Zhang Yanhe was about to explode with anger. The onlookers were gossiping even more, all saying that Gu Yun must have water in his brain, his heart blinded by lard. Ah, this world. Women have never been independent individuals. Even though Mother has already been divorced, we can only rely on Daddy Gu to get rid of Zhang Yan he is pestering. Daddy Gu's attendant, Qing Feng, was very perceptive and had already brought the horse carriage over. As we were about to leave, Zhang Bai, who had been hiding on the carriage all along, jumped down. His face was grim. Mom, as a woman, pledging yourself to a man in the middle of the street. How can you be so unvirtuous and shameless? If you go with him today, then don't blame your son for disowning you as his mother in the future. And don't expect me to take care of you in your old age or see to your funeral. Mother stopped in her tracks, her eyes moist. She slowly turned back and looked him over from head to toe. She gave a small smile. All right then. Then I'll just pretend I never gave birth to a son like you. After the carriage left the crowd, my mother pulled me over to thank Father Gu. Thank you for helping us out just now, young Master Gu. I presume young Master Gu's offer to marry me was just an expedient way to help me get out of the situation. You and I saved each other, so we should be even. Mother paused, then said with some embarrassment. But right now, it is hard for me and Huar to get by. I can tell from your distinguished air, young master, that your family must be well off. So, I've shamelessly come to ask you, young master, for 20 taels of silver. I will leave this place to find another way to live. And from then on, we will owe each other nothing. Father Gu was pouring tea, and upon hearing this, he raised an eyebrow. You said back then that you didn't expect anything in return for saving someone. Mother's face turned crimson, but she didn't back down. I was being a bit too pretentious that day. Just pretend I was spouting nonsense. Father Gu pushed the teacup towards Mother and smiled. But I never spout nonsense. When I said I wanted to marry you, I meant it. I am going to marry you and take you back to the capital. After saying that, he looked at me. If Huar hadn't just said she wanted to be my child and be filial to me, I wouldn't have bothered with this business. The promise your daughter made, does it not count? He stared intently at Mother. Going back on one's word, is that how you teach your child? Mother's mouth opened and closed, her fists clenched and unclenched. Young Master Gu, you look young and handsome, even younger than I am, and you come from an extraordinary family. I am just a ruined woman, not a suitable match. Father Gu laughed. In that case, it seems I am more than a good enough match for you, madam. You should be happy. While they were talking, we had already arrived at the rundown house we were renting. Father Gu got out of the carriage and walked around a bit in the narrow courtyard. The house was dilapidated, and there was no extra money for repairs. But Mom had bought a few pots of half-dead winter plums cheaply from the market. Now she had nursed them back to health, and they happened to be blooming with yellow flowers. Daddy Gu reached out and touched the sparse winter sweets, saying to us, "You all rest easy today. Tomorrow I'll come pick you up to return to the capital together." Mother had many worries, feeling that Daddy Gu's way of doing things was unconventional and hard to figure out. But I quite liked him, because he was the most handsome man I had ever seen in my life. And he wasn't like that Zhang Sanlang, with a mouth full of benevolence and righteousness, but a belly full of wicked schemes. The next morning, the courtyard gate was knocked on. I impatiently opened the door, but the one who greeted me wasn't Daddy Gu, but Zhang Sanlang. The courtyard was as small as a bird's nest. He craned his neck and peeked around inside, sneering. "Yonyang, that out-of-town man from yesterday, you paid him to deal with me, didn't you? I am telling you, you've lost your purity. What man would be willing to marry you? You spent all the silver I gave you just to hire some wild men to put on an act? Yonyang, you used to be so virtuous and gentle. Why did your personality become so unruly after just one trip to the bandits' den?" Besides him, there were many onlookers outside. They all started discussing amongst themselves. "A slut who has been in a bandit's den. I wouldn't take her even for free. That young master from yesterday was definitely just putting on an act. Or maybe he just saw that Yaonyang is good-looking and wanted to mess around a bit. Yaonyang, I advise you to give up on that thought of remarrying. Even a beggar on the street wouldn't marry a woman who has been touched by bandits. Just obediently go to the nunnery and chant scriptures, and don't dirty the grounds of our county town." I was furious and yelled, "That is not true. Daddy Gu said he would come pick us up today." We waited from sunrise until just before sunset, and waves of onlookers came and went. Zhang Sanlang stood at the doorway, looking at the gradually darkening sky, and smiled with satisfaction. "Yaonyang, the act is about over now. A person should know their own limits. You've been making a scene for long enough. It is time to accept your fate. No one in this world can accept an unclean woman like you. Just obediently come with me to the nunnery. This is the last chance I am giving you." Mother sat under the eaves, embroidering a small pouch. Looking up at the increasingly gloomy sky, she let out an almost inaudible sigh. Daddy Gu should know very well that Mother was never defiled. Could it be that he is just like these disgusting men? Just as I was feeling disappointed, I heard the dong-dong-dong of messy horse hooves. In the distance, a group of people was approaching, riding against the sunset's evening glow. The person in the lead was wearing a striking red wedding robe, which made him look even more handsome and spirited, with a tall and straight posture. He galloped all the way to the door before reining in his horse, forcing Zhang Sanlang to step aside. Daddy Gu dismounted his horse, the afterglow of the setting sun reflecting off the snow on the eaves, the warm light falling on his face. He smiled at Mother. "Yaonyang, I've come to marry you as promised." Mother was a bit dazed. His smile grew wider. "But before that, I have a gift to give you, Yaonyang." With that, he stepped aside, and immediately, 5 people rushed out, scrambling over one another. They all prostrated themselves in the courtyard, kowtowing towards Mother. "Thank you, lady, for saving our lives. Thank you, lady, for saving our lives." Choking back sobs, they recounted to the crowd of onlookers piece by piece. What happened on the mountain that day? The lady and her child had already left, but she couldn't bear to see us trapped, so she turned back to rescue us. If it weren't for the lady, we'd have died in that bandits' den long ago. We've been searching for the lady's whereabouts all over Yong'an County, but we never in a million years thought she was actually from Yongfu County. A buzz of discussion erupted from the crowd. Yaonyang really wasn't violated by the mountain bandits? And she wiped out the entire bandit den all by herself? How does that sound like something out of a storybook? A weak woman like her, does she really have that kind of power? They still didn't believe it. But just then, a heavy weight made his entrance. A man in official robes came striding quickly through the snow, and bowed with clasped hands towards Mother. I am the magistrate of Yong'an County. Since this autumn, this band of bandits has been causing trouble within my county. I've led troops to suppress them twice, both times without success. I never thought, madam, that you would be so clever and remain calm in the face of danger. You not only saved many trapped victims, but also eliminated these bandits. This is truly a great deed. I will write a memorial in the coming days to request a reward for you, madam. The crowd was in an uproar. Actually, when I first came back, rumors were rampant, and I had explained what happened from beginning to end time and time again. But no one believed me. Only then did they finally realize. It turned out that what Mother and I said from the very beginning was all the truth. Magistrate Zhao said he has already sent someone to inform Magistrate Wang of our Yongfu County, and he cordially invited my mother and me to have dinner at the best Ruyi restaurant in the county. I have already had the banquet properly arranged. Madam, you are a heroine no less than any man, so you don't need to bother with empty formalities, but you absolutely must do me this honor. Zhang Sanlang came over with a smile. Yonyang, since Lord Zhao has invited you so sincerely, you shouldn't refuse. Don't be afraid, I will go with you. Magistrate Zhao glanced at him. And you are? I am Yonyang's husband. Magistrate Zhao immediately looked at Father Gu, as if to say, if you are Yonyang's husband, then what is Gu Yun? I blurted out. He is my mother's ex-husband. He said my mother was unchaste, divorced her a few days ago, and even swallowed up all of her dowry. Magistrate Zhao's face immediately fell, and with the air of a high and mighty official, he said, in that case, this banquet has nothing to do with you. He turned to look at Daddy Gu, and his expression immediately became as warm as a spring breeze. Young Master Gu, it is getting dark. Shall we leave now? Hold on. Daddy Gu clapped his hands, and Qing Feng led a group of people into the courtyard, carrying about a dozen heavy chests. He looked at Mother. Time was short. This is to supplement your betrothal gifts. When we return to the capital, we'll hold a proper grand wedding. The crowd of onlookers all craned their necks. Ooh, that looks like a whole lot of stuff. You bet. It is more than 10 times the betrothal gifts Zhang Sanling gave when he married Yao Nyang. Yao Nyang is so lucky. Everyone says you marry down for your second marriage, but hers is way more glorious than her first. She is young Master Gu's life savior. Of course he is going to treasure her. So what? Didn't Yao Nyang also risk her life to save Zhang Sanlang back then? I didn't see him think much of it. Zhang Yanhei's face turned pale and then green, looking as awful as could be. Mother and I got ready and prepared to go to the banquet. Zhang Sanlang, still not giving up, stopped County Magistrate Zhao and asked subserviently, Magistrate Zhao, what on earth is this young Master Gu's background? Yeah, what is his background? I immediately pricked up my ears. I heard Magistrate Zhao laugh and say, he is the 6th young master of the Marquis Dingyuan's Go family from the capital, the young general in white robes Go Yun. Your ex-wife saved him. That is an enormous favor to the Go Xiu family. If you don't write a letter of divorce, with this alone, how hard would it be to get a job at the Yamen? So be it. It seems Yanyang and young Master Go were destined for this marriage. At this, Zhang Sanling's face turned completely pale. Regretting it now, huh? For treating my mother this way, I'll make you regret it every single day from now on. Regret it until your guts turn green. We rode in Gu Daddy's horse carriage to the restaurant. Halfway there, he suddenly told the driver to stop, lifted the curtain and got out, but he quickly returned, holding a stick of bright red sparkling tongulu. He handed the tongulu to me. I still owe you 99 sticks. Yay, Gu Daddy is just the best. This daddy, I am sticking with him. At the banquet, the 2 county magistrates kept toasting him, and Gu Daddy drank a little too much. When he was taking me and Mom home, he was even swaying a bit as he walked. The snowy ground was slippery, so Mom, afraid he would fall, reached out to steady him several times. When we got to the door, he leaned against it, his eyes still holding the lingering haze of alcohol. Yeonyang, tonight is our wedding night. Aren't you going to invite me in? Not listening. Not listening. This kid isn't listening. I parted my hands, covering my ears just a crack, and the wind carried Mother's gentle and steady voice. Young master, go. Although this might be ungrateful and like burning the bridge after crossing it, I still must say this. We're just strangers who met by chance. I don't think it has to be me, and I don't want to marry again. If you need someone to go back to the capital with to report back, I can take Hwar and go with you. But Daddy Gu interrupted her, smiling and beckoning to someone behind him. You lost hand over the 2 taels of silver. Ching Feng appeared from the shadows, tossing 2 pieces of silver to Daddy Gu with a dark expression. Daddy Gu stuffed a piece into my hand. Take this and buy a hair flower. See how well I know your mother. I guessed she would never let me in her door. He tossed the silver in his hand high into the air. But I am not at a loss either. I earned 1 tael of silver. Mother was angry. Gu Yun, how can you be so improper? Father Gu stopped smiling and bowed solemnly to Mother. I Gu Lulong was offensive. Yao Nyang, please forgive me. Mother turned sideways to avoid his formal bow, somewhat annoyed. What are you doing now? For the grace of saving my life. Yao Nyang, I, Gu, sincerely thank you. Furthermore, my grandmother is of advanced age and has long been waiting for my wife and daughter. Therefore, I must ask you, Yao Nyang, to accompany me to the capital. You and I will only be husband and wife in name, not in reality. Whatever Yao Nyang wants to do from now on, I will definitely do my best to support you. Mother froze. Really? Even if I don't want to be confined to the inner quarters and want to show my face in public, is that also okay? I always keep my word. Mother's eyes lit up. When do we leave? Tomorrow. Father Gu came to pick us up very early. It is snowing again. Just like the day Mother and I escaped from the bandits' den and returned home. My state of mind is completely different now. Just as I was about to get on the carriage, Zhang Yanhe rushed over with his family in tow. Yao Nyang. Yao Nyang. I was wrong. One day as husband and wife means 100 days of grace. I am begging you, for the sake of our 10 years as a couple and our 2 children, forgive me just this once. The old woman also came leaning on a cane. Tears streamed down her old face. Yao Nyang, it was I, your mother, who wrongly blamed you. I regret it so much. All these years, you've served me and taken care of the Zhang family with all your heart. This time, we know we were wrong. Come back with us. Okay. Zhang Bai also knelt down and pleaded. Mom, I can't live without you. I don't want to be a child without a mom. Even Yunyang and Yunyang came. They held her hand. Madam, without you, this house doesn't even feel like a home anymore. The master really knows he was wrong this time. Just forgive him this once. A lot of onlookers gathered around, chattering amongst themselves. Zhang Sanlang is sincerely repenting this time. After 10 years of marriage, is Yanyang really going to social climb and abandon them? Given the situation at the time, it was understandable for Sanlang to send the mother and daughter to a nunnery. A match between unequals is doomed. Yeonyang is a twice-married woman. If she goes to the capital, how could that family possibly accept her as the main wife? At most, she'll just be a concubine. Maybe she is just being kept as an outside mistress. That really pissed me off. I rushed over, put my hands on my hips and shielded Mother. Don't you give me that act. You just want to trap Mother. I have a new daddy now. He is handsome, good at martial arts, and good to Mother, Scram. And don't come bothering my mother. The onlookers all started to criticize me. Daddy Gu grabbed me by the collar and pulled me aside. I glared at him angrily. You are not going to care about Mother anymore. You have to trust that your mother will make the right choice. What if she really goes back with the Zhang family? Dad Gu was silent for a few moments. She is free. I respect any choice she makes. Mother seemed to have heard our conversation. She turned back and gave us a faint smile. Then she took 2 steps forward, arrogantly lifting her chin. Zhang Yanhe, after 10 years as husband and wife, I have a clear conscience. Ever since you divorced me, You and I have been strangers. Now I am a wife of the Gu family, so I ask you to have some self-respect. Zhang Yanhe's face instantly turned deathly pale. Zhang Bai stood up indignantly. You are just after wealth and riches. That is why you abandoned Daddy and me. I am ashamed to have a mother like you. Mother took a deep breath, her tone calm. It is clear all your years of study have been for nothing. I hope you don't pass the exams in the future and bring disaster to the common folk. Cool. Mother was so cool. She beckoned to me. What are you standing there dazed for? Let's go. I hadn't even moved yet. And Father Gu, like a fawning pug, rushed up in just a few steps and took hold of Mother's hand. Let me help you onto the carriage, my lady. With the act having come this far, Mother couldn't just quit halfway. She had no choice but to place her hand in his palm and shoot him a reproachful glance. The wheels started rolling, and Zhang Bai chased after the carriage, shouting, I don't have a mother like you. I'll just consider you dead. Don't ever think I'll acknowledge you. Mother was a bit dejected. I gently rested my head on her, nuzzling and nuzzling. Mom, don't be sad. You still have me. You'll always be my only mom, my most beloved mom. Mom opened her palm, and inside was a small paper note that Yunyang and Yunyang had secretly slipped her just now. They were also coerced by Zhang Yanhe. They urged Mom to seize the opportunity and never come back again. Halfway there, we saved 2 traveling merchants who had fainted from the cold in the snow. Mother checked their frostbite. We need to find a clinic quickly and have a doctor perform acupuncture on them. Otherwise, even if they survive, their legs will be crippled. The snowy roads are hard to travel on. It is at least half a day to the next town. Mother got anxious. That'll be too late. Father Gu stared at her. Then you do it. You perform the acupuncture on them. Although I studied medicine for a few years, I've gotten so rusty these years. If they're not treated in time, their legs will be crippled anyway, so just treat a dead horse as a live one. Those 2 had already woken up pleading with my mother. Lady, please be merciful. Even if our legs can't be saved, we absolutely will not blame you. In administering the needles, my mother was sweating profusely, her hands trembling. Father Gu held her wrist to help her calm down. The Shuihai acupoint is right here. You didn't miss the spot. Just go for it. I've got your back. After 1 round of needling, both of their frozen legs regained feeling. Mother was so relieved she almost cried. I can really do it. I really did it. Father Gu looked at her, and when he smiled, it was like there were stars in his eyes. Yeah, I told you you'd be fine. Mother got off the carriage to get some air. I walked over and held her hand. Mother, you are so amazing. She squeezed my hand back tightly, her tone excited and certain. War, I know what I want to do now. At 15, Father Gu followed his 2 uncles to be stationed at the border. In 8 years, he had only returned to the capital twice. This time they had just won a battle, and with His Majesty's approval, were returning to the court. Since old Madame Gu's 60th birthday was in the winter month, Father Gu returned to the capital ahead of the main army to celebrate, but he never expected that mountain bandits had drugged the water source by the road. That is how he fell into the bandits' den, only to be saved later by Mother. Over the years, old Madame Gu had worried herself sick about Father Gu's marriage, but Father Gu only wanted to kill enemies and had no interest in romance. To placate his grandmother, he lied that he had a woman he loved at the border, and that they even had a daughter. That is right. That woman was Mother. That daughter was me. After traveling for about 10 days, the carriage finally arrived in front of the Gu family's residence in the capital. The servants' quarters at Daddy Gu's house were a full 3 times the size of the Zhang residence. I also met the person with the highest status in the entire Gu family, the current emperor's paternal cousin, Princess Duanyang, great-grandmother Gu. She sat high up on a golden silk Nanmu wood chair, looking extremely majestic. I was a little scared, and subconsciously looked at Daddy Got. Daddy Gu scooped me up and stuffed me into great-grandmother's arms. You nag every day about wanting to see your great-granddaughter, but now that she is in front of you, you are putting on a stern face. If you don't like her, I'll just take the 2 of them. Mother and daughter, back to the front lines tomorrow. Great-grandmother's expression immediately changed, and she clasped me tightly in her arms, scolding Daddy. You naughty monkey. All you know is how to tease me. My sweet great-grandchild, let your great-grandmother get a good look at you. She nodded to the maidservant behind her, and the maidservant immediately brought out a tray full of gold, silver, and jade items. She piled all the gold bracelets, jade bracelets, gold necklaces, and various hairpins onto me. Pinching my face with a beaming smile, she said, See, now this looks like a child of my Gu family. Following your dad and roughing it in the borderlands, you've really suffered. She also gifted a lot of jewelry and bolts of cloth to my mother. She actually didn't give me and mother a hard time at all. So there really are such nice old people in this world. My nose felt wet. I wrapped my arms around her neck and said in a babyish voice, Great-grandmother, Huar likes great-grandmother so much. Great-grandmother Go's tone of voice softened. Great-grandmother likes Huar too. Huar is great-grandmother's precious darling. Father Gu watched coldly from the side. Then what about me? Didn't you write in a letter saying that if I didn't come back soon, these old bones of yours wouldn't even have a chance to see me again? And I haven't seen you dote on me? Great-grandmother Gu shot him a fierce glare. You can just leave tomorrow. Just leave Huar and Yao Niang behind to keep me company. First grandma and second grandma, they also both gave me and mother many things. Turns out I am the only girl in the Gu family, and I have 11 older brothers. The elders have been wishing on every star, wanting to have a baby girl. Great-grandmother held mother's hand, very excited. Can you read? Can you read account books? I know a little. Deninai's eyes lit up. That is great. Come find me tomorrow. I'll teach you how to run the household. Uncle from the second branch, from second grandma to the 2 daughters-in-law. Everyone only likes to brandish swords and spears. Eldest grandma's 3 daughters-in-law, on the other hand, adored romantic and artistic pursuits. If they weren't writing poetry, they were playing an instrument and painting. She has been managing this huge marquise's mansion all by herself, and she has been suffering for a long time. Great-grandmother Gu also spoke up. Yao Niang, since you know how to read the account books, from now on, help your eldest madam. If you have the aptitude for it, this household will be handed over to you in the future. Mother pressed her lips together and didn't say anything. Just then, a servant came to report that the imperial physician had arrived for the routine pulse check. Mother stood beside great-grandmother Gu, staring without blinking as the imperial physician took the pulse, talked about the illness and medical principles, and watched him write a prescription, her eyes filled with the light of admiration and anticipation. I looked over at Daddy Gu again. He was looking thoughtfully at Mother. After imperial physician, Wang finished taking the pulse. Daddy Gu went to see him off. Great-grandmother Gu nodded. It seems he is grown up. He even knows some etiquette. I craned my neck and saw Daddy Gu pulling imperial physician Wang aside, saying something to him. Imperial physician Wang repeatedly waved his hands in refusal. But Daddy Gu put an arm around his shoulders and persuaded him with a few more words. Imperial physician Wang abruptly turned his head to look at him, hesitated for a good while, and then nodded. Daddy Gu gave him a push on the back, urging him to hurry up and leave. Imperial physician Wang turned back to glare at him, pointed his finger at him, and said a few words. I guessed it must have been words of scolding. Back at the Gu residence, Daddy Gu and we were naturally to stay in the same room. After his bath, he changed into a set of moon-white inner clothes, sprawled brazenly onto the bed, and grinned at Mother. Yao Niang, now that you've entered the Gu residence, you can never run away again. The entire residence is watching, you know. You can't kick me out tonight. He patted the spot beside him on the bed. Come here, lie down here. Let's have a little husband and wife chat. Mother's face flushed crimson. Gu Yun, Huar, is still here. What nonsense are you talking about? Didn't we already agree? I quickly closed my eyes and leaned back on the small couch. Mother, I am asleep. I can't see anything. I can't hear anything. Just as I was covering my ears, my body was lifted into the air. Daddy Gu pulled me up from the small couch and tossed me onto the bed. I was just teasing you, mother and daughter. Go sleep on the bed. This here is my turf. I got into the covers, hugging Mom. Before long, I heard Daddy Goo's steady snores. Mom! Daddy Goo is really nice. Do you like him? Will he become my real daddy? Mother gently stroked my head. War, don't you forget. This is an act. We're both liars. Go to sleep now. The next day, just as we finished breakfast, first Madam came to see. She couldn't wait to teach Mother how to manage the household. Mother refused several times. But first, Madam's enthusiasm didn't diminish. Mother was in a difficult position. Just then, Daddy Goo returned from his morning exercise. He stopped eldest grandma and said, Eldest auntie, I am afraid Yaonyang can't learn household management from you anymore. Why, it is rare for her to have such an aptitude. Because she wants to study medicine. I pleaded with Imperial Physician Wang yesterday, and Imperial Physician Wang has agreed to take her as his disciple. Mother suddenly raised her head, looking at Father Goo in disbelief. But Imperial Physician Wang said long ago that he would never take another disciple. You are not trying to fool me, are you? This nephew wouldn't dare. Father Goo sent me and Mother to Imperial Physician Wang's place. He said, Yaonyang, you saved my life, so I fought for this opportunity for you. But I hope that in the future, whatever you want to do, you will boldly say it out loud yourself. Imperial Physician Wang once had a favorite apprentice who, 15 years ago, got involved in the struggle for the crown prince position and poisoned the current crown prince. That poison was personally developed by Imperial Physician Wang, originally a formula to fight poison with poison for treating snake venom, but it was used in the struggle for the throne. After the incident, he was almost implicated. Since then, he has publicly declared that he would never take on an apprentice again. Princess Liang came to find Mother and gave her a good round of mockery and sarcasm. Do you know that in order to get Imperial Physician Wang to accept you, Brother Goo angered His Majesty, and also caused His Highness the Crown Prince to hold a grudge? You are just a countrywoman. Since you've taken the position of his wife, you should know your place and stay quietly in the inner quarters. What is all this about showing your face in public all day? It turns out that back then, Imperial Physician Wang had married his own daughter to his apprentice. When the incident occurred, they had a 2-year-old daughter. That child was exiled to Lingnan, and is still alive today. Father Goo earned military merit in the recent war. When His Majesty asked what reward he wanted, he pleaded for His Majesty's grace to allow that woman to return to the capital, in exchange for Imperial Physician Wang accepting Mother as his apprentice. This matter would, of course, displease the Crown Prince. Mother answered, neither servile nor overbearing. So my husband went to so much trouble, and even offended His Highness the Crown Prince, just so I could study medicine with a renowned doctor. In that case, I have all the more reason not to waste his efforts. I must work twice as hard and succeed in my studies. County Mistress Liang was so angry her nose went crooked. You are simply unreasonable. After she left, we turned around, only to see Daddy go. His eyes sparkled as he looked at Mother. Commandery Princess Liang has always been pampered and spoiled. I was worried you'd be bullied. Looks like I was worrying for nothing. He gave Mother a thumbs up. Yaonyang, you are tougher than I thought. Looks like you'll be the one protecting me, your husband, from now on. Mother blushed shyly again. Can't you be a little more serious when you talk? You offended His Highness the Crown Prince for me. Have you thought of a plan? Our Goo family has illustrious military achievements. A tall tree catches the wind. Dad Goo stuffed a tangulu into my hand. His Majesty is old now, while the Crown Prince is in his prime. If the Goo family is on good terms with the Crown Prince, it would actually be a bad thing. Mother frowned. So offending people is actually safer. Court affairs are really this complicated. Dad Goo lifted me onto the carriage. It is not as profound as you think. If you want to understand the ins and outs, I'll explain it to you bit by bit. On the carriage ride back to the residence that day, Daddy Goo told me and Mommy about some major affairs of the court. All sorts of connection networks and stuff. It made me so drowsy listening to it. At night before falling asleep, I asked Mommy, Daddy Gu has done so much. Mommy, what do you think about it? I am quite grateful to him, Mommy said. But I am even more certain that my choice was the right one. Huh? Your master got involved in something as perilous as the fight for the throne, yet he was able to protect his whole family's lives. Do you know why? Why? Because the late Empress Dowager had a head ailment and had to rely on Master for treatment. His Majesty also has a chronic illness and has to rely on Master to manage it. Those in power spared him, not out of mercy, but because Master possesses irreplaceable medical skills, and they have need of him. So Huar, at any time, if we hold a card that others can hardly get, only then can we have more confidence in life. The elders were all very supportive of Mother studying medicine. The Gu family is a family of military generals, so it is inevitable to get injured and bleed. It is so good to learn medicine. If there is an emergency, you won't have to ask others for help. They all came to Mother to get treated. Mother was a dabbler after all, so she was very cautious. They comforted Mother. Don't worry, the worst that can happen is we'll recover a bit slower. If you stick the needle in wrong, just do it again. It is not like it'll kill us. Make small mistakes on us, so you won't make a big one in a life-or-death situation in the future. Yao Niang, you are Imperial Physician Wang's star pupil, so just go ahead and apply the needles and write prescriptions. Mom was very touched, and also very guilty, because she and Father Gu were, after all, just putting on an act. I really can't understand these grown-ups. Since you feel guilty, then you should just really get together with Daddy Guth. This way, you'll go from a fake couple to a real couple, and I'll be the only little liar left. I am thick-skinned. I am not afraid. Although my identity is fake, my love for everyone in the Gu family is more real than gold and jewels. The white-robed General Gu Yun was once the dream man of many young ladies in the capital. This victory earned him praise from His Majesty, and his glory was boundless. But the wife he found was of low birth, which was a bit of a mismatch. There were quite a few rumors around the capital about Daddy Gu and Mother. Half a year after returning to the manor, spring arrived with its warm weather and blooming flowers. Great-grandmother Gu decided to hold a flower-viewing banquet, inviting all the noblewomen and young ladies of the capital, but her real purpose was to formally introduce Mother's status to everyone. Great-grandmother Go personally put the jade hairpin in Mother's hair. When I was married, His Majesty personally carved this hairpin and gifted it to me. He was still just a prince back then. Yao Niang, stand up a bit straighter. Wear this, and even the current empress wouldn't dare to bully you as she pleases. Mother's eyes were red-rimmed. Holding great-grandmother's hand, she said, Grandmother, actually, there is something I've always wanted to tell you. Great-grandmother patted her shoulder. The banquet is about to start. Let's talk later. Whatever it is, don't keep the guests waiting. No, I want to say it now. I know what Mom is thinking. These days, Mom has been studying medicine and never attends the various gatherings of the capital's prominent families, because she knows her identity is fake and doesn't want to get too involved, making it hard to back out. But if she shows up at such a major occasion today, I am afraid there will be no turning back in the future. Great-grandmother interrupted her with a smile. What is the rush? I know everything. I know everything. Let's go deal with the guests first. Mother was pulled by her to the feast. Great-grandmother held Mother's hand, introduced her to everyone, and the guests praised her one after another, and chatted enthusiastically. But just at this moment, the man in eunuch's attire, who had been following behind County Mistress Liang with his head down, suddenly rushed out and threw himself in front of Mother. It is Zhang Bai, he said, sobbing uncontrollably. Mother, your son knows he was wrong. A son shouldn't despise his mother for having been in a bandit's den. A son shouldn't doubt his mother's innocence. I beg you, Mother, don't abandon your son. With that, he kowtowed to his mother with a dong dong dong. Commandery Princess Liang stood up and said with a flourish, Old Madame Gu, don't you be fooled by this woman. She is not young General Gu's wife at all. She was married before, gave birth to a son and a daughter, and was even abducted by bandits. The female guests were in an uproar. Gu Yun's wife is a woman on her second marriage. She was in a den of bandits. You think she is still pure, from the sound of it, to enter the capital and marry Guyun. She even abandoned her own son. In that case, that little girl isn't Guyun's biological child either. No, it is not like that. I rushed forward, wanting to defend Mother, but the aunties grabbed me and wouldn't let me speak. Mother took a deep breath and tears fell. She took 2 steps forward and slapped Zhangbo across the face. Zhangbo staggered from the slap, took the opportunity to fall to the ground, and hiding the hatred in his eyes, wailed pretentiously. Mother, Mother. I am begging you, Mother. Please recognize me. I am your biological son. Mother no longer looked at him, and instead knelt before great-grandmother, kowtowing deeply to her. Grandmother, I am sorry. After saying that, she then looked at the other elders of the Giyu family and kowtowed again. First aunt, second aunt, all my sisters-in-law, I am sorry. County Princess Liang said smugly. Old Madame Gu, you should hurry up and kick this liar out of the family. Don't let her bewitch Sixth Master again. A young talent like Sixth Master should find a woman of a matching social status. How could he possibly want a twice-married woman who has been in a bandit's den and whose innocence is not intact? The guests' chatter grew louder and louder. Mother slowly wiped away the tears from the corners of her eyes and turned around to face the murmuring voices. My former husband was cruel and ungrateful. Back then, it was to save him, and this son that I ended up in the bandit's den. I escaped by the skin of my teeth, but they wanted me to die. Let's not even mention that the bandits never touched me, but even if they had, why should I have to die? I came into this world to live, not for the sake of their reputations. I live for myself and for my daughter who understands and loves me. She gave a bitter smile. Since we're all women, I thought you'd understand me better than those men. The entire courtyard fell silent. Mother beckoned to me. War, come here. She took my hand and bowed to great-grandmother and the elders. These past days, thank you all for your care. I am very sorry for not being open and honest before. Now, I am too ashamed to continue staying in the Giyu family. Hua and I will be leaving now. The Liang County mistress urged. Hurry up and get lost. It is the Giyu family's mercy that we're not sending you to prison. Mother smiled at her. Anju, matters of love between a man and a woman aren't about you getting what you want just by driving me away. As a fellow woman, you shouldn't use such methods against me. In this round, you may seem to have won, but you've actually already lost. But Liang Shanju didn't understand, and even ordered the maidservant by her side to drive Mother and me away. Just then, Gu Taizumu stamped her cane. Liang, this is the Gu residence. It is not a guest's place to drive away the mistress of the Gu family's third branch. But old Madame Gu, she is innocent. Shut up, old Madame Gu said angrily. Back then, it was these rumors and gossip that harmed my youngest daughter, making Yuner lose his mother since he was a child. Are you now going to say this nonsense again to harm my granddaughter-in-law and make Yuner lose his wife again? We are all women. Why must we tear each other down? As for Yaonyang's past, everyone in our entire household knows about it. She is the one Yuner has chosen, and she is also the one our Giyu family has chosen. If you feel that associating with our Giyu family is beneath you, she extended her cane, pointing towards the door, then please see yourselves out. She took 2 steps forward, pulling my mother and me, her eyes red-rimmed, holding back tears. If Jo-Yun had thought like you back then, how would I have ended up losing my daughter in my old age? You were going to confess to me this morning, weren't you? Good child. Yuner already told us about your situation. You just stay here in the Giyu family with peace of mind. As long as I am alive, no one will be able to gossip about you and your daughter. It turns out Father Giyu was originally great-grandmother's maternal grandson. Back then, when the Giyu family went to battle, the enemy was no match and sent spies to capture Zhaoyun's grandmother, wanting to threaten first grandfather and second grandfather. Zhaoyun's grandmother barely escaped with her life and returned, but her husband's family despised her for having lost her chastity. Her husband's family put immense mental pressure on her, and the whole city was filled with vicious rumors. Zhao Yun's grandmother couldn't withstand the relentless attacks and died by hanging herself. Gu's great-grandmother was ill at the time, so everyone hid the news from her. By the time she found out, it was already too late. She dragged her sickly body and stormed into Zhao Yun's grandmother's husband's family home, brought back the barely 2-year-old Daddy Gu. And from then on, Daddy Gu took the surname Gu, a grandson of the Gu family. First grandma and second grandma also gathered around. Yaoniang, our Giyu family is a lineage of military generals. We've seen too much of life and death. Many people are alive today, and tomorrow they go to the battlefield and lose their lives. Once a person is dead, there is nothing left. There is nothing in this world more important than being alive. You are so strong to have weathered the rumors and gossip, and still not forgetting to save Gu Yun amidst the chaos. Our whole family really admires you. It is just so, sister-in-law, just relax and keep staying with the Gu Yu family. If you leave and that ancestor Gu Yun finds out, he'll definitely turn the house upside down. With great-grandmother backing mother up, the guests didn't dare act out of line again, and everyone at the banquet seemed to be having a great time. When the banquet was over, Mother and I saw the guests off along with Grandmadam and the others. Father Gu was right at the doorway. He walked over with a smile, and in front of everyone, helped Mother tidy the stray hairs at her temples. Did you enjoy the banquet today? Did anyone bully you? Yes, but I gave it back to them myself, and Grandmother and the others backed me up too. Father Gu's eyes and brows held a gentleness. Okay, if anyone gossips again next time, you tell me, and I'll take my long spear to so shut the mouths of those long-tongued people. I watched as those female customers all shivered in fear and quickened their pace to leave. That night, while I was half asleep, I heard Mom say to Dad Gu, "You've never talked about your mother before?" I had no idea at all. Dad Gu laughed and replied, "What is that look in your eyes? Are you pitying me?" Although I grew up without a mother, my grandmother, uncles, and aunts pitied me and spoiled me rotten. You've seen how they treat me. That time, I saw you arguing with your ex-husband on the street, insisting you were not in the wrong. And I was thinking, if my mother had been as insistent as you were back then, perhaps she'd still be alive and well today. I think she must have been worried that her bad reputation would implicate me. But dying can't shut those people's mouths. It just makes a child grow up without a mother. Mom said softly, "I will live a good life, with Huar for a long, long time living happily." Dad Gu smiled. "Excellent, that is how it should be. Yaoniang, I am really tired today. Just let me lie down and sleep by your side. That small couch is too narrow. I always roll off it at night. Then go sleep in the study. I am too tired. Get up, go sleep in the study." Mom's voice grew more and more urgent, but Dad Gu's snores had already started. I am so sleepy. Who cares how the adults fight? I just turned over and fell asleep. The next day, Mom said she wanted to open a clinic. The thing about medical skills is, you just have to see more patients and accumulate more experience. Father Gu was swift and decisive, and immediately bought a clinic for Mother. Although the capital was much more open than Yongfu County, there had never been a female doctor with her own practice treating men. Female doctors generally treated women for childbirth and prenatal care, and were confined to the inner courtyards. At first, no one was optimistic about Mother. But the thing is, Mother had someone backing her up. Whenever she encountered a difficult and complicated case she couldn't handle, she would go find Grandmaster, Imperial Physician Wang, for help, normally in the palace. Even low-ranking concubines couldn't trouble Grandmaster to make an appearance. Every time, Grandmaster's face would grow long, and he'd sigh heavily. What sin did I commit? With half my body in the grave, to take on a disciple like you. My reputation in the medical world is illustrious, but in the world of education, it is in tatters. When you go out, don't say I am your master. This is the last time I am helping you. He said that every single time. Every single time, he couldn't resist it when Mother said, "You definitely won't be able to figure out what is wrong with this patient." Although Grandmaster was old, he had a competitive spirit and had never given up on exploring medicine. Mother said, "Huar, You should learn more from your grandmaster. Even after practicing medicine for some 50 years, he has never lost his passion. When a person hits a low point, if they can still hold on to their original aspiration, that passion is enough to support us through the harsh winter. Mother's reputation gradually grew, and all the patients who came to see her praised her. Mom was very modest. It was His Majesty's kindness that allowed me, a woman, to study medicine with the imperial physicians. And it was Master's kindness to teach me everything he knew, and he didn't mind that I was slow. On this day, the clinic welcomed some special patients, Zhang Bai and Zhang Yanhe. Back then, Princess Liang sought them out to come to the capital, promising them official positions and status, all to deal with Mom. Unexpectedly, Daddy Gu, great-grandmother, and the entire Gu family all protected Mom, making the princess a laughingstock to everyone. This matter even came to the emperor's attention. His Majesty fined her a year's salary, and immediately bestowed a marriage upon her. The man she was to marry was far away in the Shu region. In a fit of anger, Princess Liang kicked the two of them out of her residence. At the turn of spring and summer, the weather was unpredictable. Zhang Yanhe contracted a serious illness, becoming so thin he was just a bag of bones, with sunken eye sockets and high cheekbones. Even I could see that his life was hanging by a thread. Zhang Bai was also quite sick. His face was flushed, and he was coughing so hard that his back was deeply hunched over. The two of them knelt on the ground and kowtowed to Mom. Yonyang, a couple for a day means 100 days of grace. I am begging you for the sake of our two children. Save me, in the capital. No clinic will take me. Mom, your son was also forced by Princess Liang. Zhang Bai shuffled on his knees to Mom's side. Your son knows he was wrong. I beg Mom to save her son. I beg Mom to take her son in. Mother coldly ordered, throw both of them out. Immediately, a servant boy came forward to drag them away. Zhang Yanhe screamed shrilly, Yao Nyang, you are a healer. A healer's heart is benevolent. How can you use your position for private revenge? You can save me. You clearly could have saved me, Mother sneered. And what about you back then? You also could have stopped the carriage to wait for me. You also could have protected me after I returned to the Zhang family. You also could have offered a little help after I left the Zhang family, but you did nothing. You pushed me into the abyss again and again, and now you come to blame me for not being kind-hearted enough. Mother raised her chin high. Zhang Yanhe, I learned medicine to save my and Huar's lives. And also for times like this, for a heartless bastard like you, to leave you to die. Drag him out. Zhang Yanhe was thrown out. Zhang Bai dug his fingers tightly into the door panel, shouting hoarsely, Mom, it was Dad who forced me. I was forced. Mom, save me, take me in. I'll definitely listen to you from now on. I am willing to serve young General Gu as my father, to see him as my own real daddy. You used to be so good to me. I am your only son. I was a little nervous. Of course I wouldn't go soft on Zhangyan and Mom, but Zhang Bai is different. Actually, in the past, Mom loved Zhang Bai more than she loved me. He is a boy, and was once the hope of the family. Mother took a deep breath and said softly, If you pleaded for your dad right now, I'd at least think more highly of you. But you only cared about saving yourself, which shows just how selfish you are. I truly regret giving birth to you. Bor, I taught you when you were very little that a person must be responsible for their own actions. Now is the time for you to bear the consequences. She turned her face away and ordered, drag him out. Not many days after this incident, Daddy Gu came back one time and told Mother that Zhang Yanhe and Zhang Bo had both died of illness outside the city. Mother was stunned for a moment, then said, Then let's do a good deed and have their remains sent back to the Zhang family. The old madam must miss the father and son very much. All right, I'll go arrange it. Mother looked up and asked Daddy Gu, Do you think I am cold-hearted? I didn't understand. Fallen leaves return to their roots. Remains return to the hometown. This is a good deed. How could it be cold-hearted? Daddy Gu said, When we march into battle, we always repay kindness with kindness, and repay hatred with hatred. Being merciful to the enemy means you'll most likely be the one to die next time. Yaonyang, you did very well. Unfortunately, the days of peace and quiet are always too brief. After the Dragon Boat Festival, war broke out in the north. His Majesty was dispatching Daddy Go to guard the border and deal with the Northern Dai people. I was so anxious. Great-grandmother was anxious too. Swords and spears on the battlefield have no eyes, and Daddy Go still doesn't have his own bloodline. I asked Mother, Daddy Go is going to the battlefield, aren't you worried? Mother said, I am going to the battlefield with him, huh? I've rarely had the chance to treat knife and sword wounds before. Traveling together this time, I can gain a lot of experience, and it is a chance to put what I've learned to use. In case your Daddy Goo gets injured, I can still treat him in time. Mother, I am a little confused now. Are we just putting on an act, or are we really a family with Daddy Goo? Do you like Daddy Goo now? Mother nodded. I like him. I started liking him a very long time ago. I tilted my head. Then why didn't you tell him? Why didn't you sleep with him? Mother blushed. I am a remarried woman with a low status. We weren't a match for each other to begin with, but the heavens let me meet him. And if I were to just let him go, I'd probably spend the rest of my life regretting it until my guts turn green. So I worked hard to learn medical skills and opened a clinic to build a reputation for myself. And this time, I am also going to the battlefield to face life and death with him. There was a blazing light in Mother's eyes. I am working hard to improve myself, and I believe that one day I'll be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with him. Don't be afraid of failure. What is terrible isn't failure, but dwelling on it. When we fall, we get back up. Think hard about why we fell, and then all you have to do is never make the same mistake in the same place again. I wasn't listening at all. I was too busy gossiping. So is Mommy going to sleep with Daddy Goo tonight? No way, he has to come beg me. Mommy blushed scarlet. As women, we still have to have this little bit of reserve. When Daddy Goo heard that Mommy wanted to go to the front lines with him, he was both pleasantly surprised and worried. But Mommy convinced him. He told me, you've always been very bright and had a mind of your own. This trip north will take at least 1 or 2 years, at most 5 or 6, and we probably won't be able to come back to Kyoto. You are a child of the Jiu family. If you stay with the Jiu family, great-grandmother and the grandmothers and aunties will raise you to be a well-bred young lady, and your days will surely be of fine clothes and choice food. But if you want to go to the north with us, we will bring you along too. Of course I am going with them, because I don't want to be separated from Mother and Father Goo. Besides, I also want to follow Mother and learn medical skills. I want to have a craft to support myself. I want to have my own passion. I don't want to be a well-bred lady confined to the inner chambers. I want to go out into the wide world to find my own life. Later, Father Goo was seriously injured on the battlefield. Mother tirelessly took care of him. When he got a little better, he held Mother's hand and said, I thought I was going to die then. The only regret is I still haven't won your heart, Yaonyang. And after that, it was the naughty stuff that I can't tell you guys about. During the war, Mom developed more effective wound medicine and anesthetic powder, and boldly opened up bodies to remove arrows, teaching this technique to all the army doctors, which greatly reduced the soldiers' mortality rate. Later, after returning victorious to the court, His Majesty specially permitted Mom, as a woman, to enter the Imperial Medical Academy and become an imperial physician. He also personally inscribed a plaque with contributions equal to a great general, and bestowed it upon Mom. Her Majesty, the Empress's youngest daughter, who is also His Highness the Crown Prince's little sister, was also fond of medicine. She took Mom as her master, in the capital. There were also more and more female doctors, who began to no longer limit themselves to women of the inner residences, and started treating men as well. At that time, no one dared to say anymore that Mom wasn't good enough for Dad Goo. They all said that Mom and Dad Goo were simply a match made in heaven, a perfect couple. As for me, I left the capital and became a traveling doctor. There are too few patients in the capital. I am going to travel across mountains and rivers to find my path in medicine.